Welcome to Health Matters with Hatsuno Kiseki. Thank you for joining us for our first Facebook Live session. We are thrilled to have you here as we delve into the world of health and wellness. We have a diverse range of topics planned for you, from our extensive research on Hatsuno Kiseki products to natural methods of healing from within. Also, you can check our Kiseki experiences in our YouTube channel. Our goal here is to empower you with the knowledge and tools you need to make informed decisions about your health and well-being in your daily life. Okay, without further ado, we are excited to introduce you to our esteemed panel of experts. Dr. Lim Wong Hao, I have to read what, okay, he holds a PhD in pharmaceutical technology and specializes in nano formulation for cosmeceuticals and nutraceutical derived from herbs, modified disulfide nanobiopolymers for colon targeted drug delivery system and metabolomics based drug discovery from natural products. Did I get it right, Dr. Lim?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
And then we have Dr. Arut Siva, a naturopathic doctor in Singapore and a founder of Meditherapy Singapore. So Dr. Siva focused on enhancing health by combining the latest innovations in complementary health with ancient Eastern natural healing principles. We're honored to have Dr. Siva as our partner in Singapore, providing advice and guidance to our growing Kiseki community there. Dr. Tan Tuan Chew, he has a PhD in food technology and specializes in beverage processing and technology, kinetic study, and alternative proteins. Dr. Tan also is a consultant on food regulation, labeling, food defense, and analysis. So any one of you out there who needs his services can also look for him. Correct or not, Dr. Tan?
Correct. Thank you, Thank you, Mark.
Okay, so today we are excited to share with you our recent research conducted by Dr. Lim and his team, which explores the effects of Hatsuno Kiseki Royale on breast cancer cells in a lab setting. So first, we'd like to invite Dr. Siva to share a bit about what he's most passionate about and give you a glimpse into the concept of healing from within. Dr. Siva, over to you.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening to all of you. I'll just share something in a very simple layman terms. If you look at immunity for cancer, whoever is suffering from cancer, want to prevent cancer, you can always hear the word, yeah, immunity, I want to boost my immunity. Can you really boost your immunity on your own? Honestly, if you look, we have a digestive system, we have a skeletal system, we have muscular system, which can define organs. But when it comes to immunity actually lies one part of it in our gut. So it is part of the digestive system on which immune system goes over it. So when I used to work in a hospital, so we used to look at the statistics. So one of the statistics is Indians, particularly who take yogurt on a daily basis, because especially for South Indians and for some regions in North India, with every lunch, we need to have a yogurt. Why? Because yogurt provides prebiotic. So like for people who can't digest milk on its own, but when it is made into a yogurt, or in other words, they call it as a curd, it actually breaks down everything. So the process of fermentation is to break down things which our body can assimilate easily. So in my family, I don't even know anyone until now suffering from colon cancer. None of them. Zero, literally zero. Why? Yogurt is part of our daily meal. So that yogurt got a lot of all the things which until now we may not know everything. But that helps to protect the gut. So likewise, every cultures have something fermentation. So like Koreans have kimchi, Japan have natto, every culture, like if you go Middle East, they have kefir. If you go Greece, they call something called halloumi, made out of goat's milk. So people in Mongolia, they make things out of yak's milk. So wherever people are, who all takes yogurt, their gut health will be good. And I need to be very clear here. When I say yogurt, I'm not referring to the packaged ones which you buy off the supermarket shelf, which lot of coloring, flavoring, sugar, and all the additives. Yogurt means it boils down to milk. You boil it, you cool it to 30 degrees, add a spoon of another yogurt which you made earlier, stir it, close it for the whole night. Next day morning, you open up, yogurt will be ready. This is the real yogurt I mean, and not the commercial ones. Because most commercial yogurt, I don't even call them yogurt because it's not even made from real milk. So likewise, so when immunity is in the gut and when we take yogurt, it helps in our immunity. So likewise, when it comes to Kiseki, as I said earlier, different cultures have different fermentation product. Kiseki is also a fermented product. So the Marks dad found the best formulator, put everything together in a package, tested it, and we are having this seminar to integrate that with science so that it gives you assurance that this is a science-based product. So what is the uniqueness of Kiseki from my thing is, all of you might have heard about probiotics and some people might have heard about prebiotics, but very few of you might have heard about postbiotics. So if I were to put it in a very simple term, in a sequence, prebiotic feeds probiotic. Then this probiotic produces postbiotics. It means when you take something of pre and pro, your body makes postbiotics. That is very good for a normal person when everything is in order. But someone with cancer doing chemotherapy and etc., it would have destroyed the digestive system. So there may not be enough digestive juices to process it, to convert it, everything to postbiotics. Whereas Kiseki Royale, it's like, which I always give to all my cancer people. It's already a postbiotics. So it is pre-converted to pro and it has become post. So it means direct absorption into the body without any waste. That is what it means. It's called a metabolized product. It means when we eat a food, our stomach mixes with the stomach acids and all the digestive juices and becomes a chyme. And when it goes to the small intestine, that's where the nutrients get absorbed. In this case, that is where it is called metabolized food. In this case, Kiseki is already metabolized. The moment you take it, it gets straight into your gut without much efforts on your body. So I hope you're clear what's the meaning of pre, pro, and postbiotics, and why this is the key for health. Now I request all of you to do your research on fecal transplant. It means a lot of people now, when gut is so compromised, if I were to put it in a very blunt term, they take a shit from another person and insert it into another person to rebuild the gut microbiome. And again, another keyword you all should know and must know is gut microbiome. Honestly, we have no idea how much diverse of gut microbiome we have. But as of now, the last tribe existing on the planet is in Tanzania called the Hadza tribe. They eat everything from nature and none of the people have any of the problems in a so-called developed society is facing, like cancer, obesity, stroke, all other digestive disorders, nothing. They all are perfectly fine. Why? They eat perfect food from nature and that feeds the body and that produces the best microbiome and that gives them the best immunity. But the thing is, none of us can pack and go to Tanzania and live like them. So we need to bring what they are eating and experiencing into our life on a day-to-day basis at a very comfortable thing. So that's where Kiseki Royale fits very well, especially for people with cancer. So please do your research now on gut microbiome and see how important it is. And also do a research on how pre, pro, and postbiotics helps people to have a good digestive system, because right now, most of the people, when I ask, do you have constipation? The answer is yes. To me, if a shit is choked inside of you, from the filth, you can't expect health to come out. From the filth, you can only expect shit to come out, worst shit. So that's why colon cancer is on the rise. My friend, I'm 52 this year. The same year, my friend, same month was born. He died 6 years ago. He told me for 6 years, he never even ate a strand of vegetable or a fruit. He's eating dead body after dead body after dead body 3 times a day. And he thought he's a very healthy person. Only when he realized his whole toilet bowl was red, which is his own blood, he realized something drastically went wrong. And true enough, if you don't eat fiber, why I need to bring up this example is fiber is actually a prebiotic which your postbiotics need. Prebiotics need to feed on this fiber that's the food for it. But a raw meat don't have enough fiber. So I said, you keep on eating it for a long time, your colon gets choked. So likewise, please have a variety of green, fresh, pure vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds from nature. Eat variety. And when you eat free of pesticides and fertilizers, because they're all synthetic, again will destroy the gut microbiome. So when you eat like that, and together with it, when you supplement with Kiseki Royale and other good friendly stuff which will cultivate the gut microbiome, your immunity goes up, which is very important for cancer. So with this, I hope a simple introduction will give you a good background. So let me pass it back to Mark to take it further. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Siva, for the very brief introduction. So for those who have questions about our research, please feel free to ask them. Or if you have questions for Dr. Siva, you can ask them in the comment section. We will try to answer all of your questions in this session. If we can't, we will reply to you in the comment section after this. So yes, before that, just a disclaimer. The research that is done by Dr. Lim is in a lab setting with breast cancer cells, and we are not by no means claiming that Kiseki will cure breast cancer, but there is hope. So without further ado, Dr. Lim, please proceed with your presentation. Let me give you the host.
Thank you, Mark, for the introduction, and a very good morning to all of you. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, with a very big bottle of Hatsuno Kiseki.
Right.
Okay, so after hearing from Dr. Siva on the benefits of Hatsuno Kiseki Royale, we actually did the anti-cancer test on breast cancer cells. So basically, it's on breast cancer cells, and the scientific term that we use here is actually a breast cancer cytotoxicity. As you can see from the title here, Hatsuno Kiseki Royale, breast cancer cytotoxicity. So what is a cytotoxicity? Cytotoxicity here refers to the toxicity caused by the action of some therapeutic agent on cancer cells, which means that it is also the ability of certain chemicals, in this case that it is Kiseki Royale, that to destroy the cancer cells. So we call it as the cytotoxicity, the ability of Kiseki Royale to destroy the cancer cells. So as you can see here, what are the effects of Kiseki Royale on human breast cancer cells as well as the normal cells? The breast cancer cell that we use here is actually named as MCF7. That is the code for the breast cancer cell line, which is one part or one type of the breast cancer cell. It is actually why we use this breast cancer cell line. It is because it is capable of producing some of the hormones such as the estrogen, the progesterone, so on and so forth. And these type of breast cancer cells, they are actually very useful in some of the in vitro on a cell line basis for breast cancer studies. And they also contain some several ideal characteristics, such as maybe like processing some of the hormones into the breast cancer cells itself. So in this study, we basically examine the anti-breast cancer effect of a natural postbiotic supplement. In this case, it's Hatsuno Kiseki Royale in specifically human breast cancer cells, the MCF7, as I mentioned earlier. So the anti-cancer potential, we actually studied it using a colorimetric MTS assay. And we also use the normal breast cancer cell line, which we name it as MCF10A. We use that as a control. And the treatment will be exposure for 24, 48, and 72 hours. So this is the exposure timeline for the cell line or for the breast cancer cells. So we actually treat it with the Kiseki Royale for these 3 duration of hours. And if you can see some of the results here, basically the Kiseki Royale was examined for cytotoxic activity, which is the ability to kill the breast cancer cells. As you can see from the figure, the treatments basically decreased. Okay, the treatment from the Kiseki Royale basically decreased the number of breast cancer cells in time and dose-dependent manner. So what does it mean? It means that referring to the effects of the treatment with Kiseki Royale, the effect actually changed with the dose of the Kiseki. Then the effects are said to be the dose dependent. So in this case, in other words, the effect increases when the Kiseki Royale dose is decreased, meaning to say that with a very little dose of Kiseki Royale, the effect actually increases quite big. Okay, we can see that the impact when it actually kills the cancer cells. So if you see the table here, we can see that that is a half maximal inhibitory concentration, or we call it as the IC50. So what is an IC50? It actually indicates how much Kiseki is actually needed to inhibit a biological process, in this case, the cancer process, by half. All right. So it will actually provide a measure of potency against the in breast cancer cell activity by the Kiseki Royale. So in this case, if you see the graph here, so the IC50 was actually derived from the graph of the cell viability, which is against the log concentration of the treatment. So you can see that the table shows the compilation of Kiseki Royale, shows that the cytotoxic activity, which is the ability to kill the cancer cells after the treatment, 72 hours, which is about 9%. Okay, 9% in the MCF7, which is the breast cancer cell itself. So from here, we can actually say that the lower the concentration is required to inhibit the half of the survival of the breast cancer cells. So the compound's potency is increased. So the term potent here, it actually refers to the ability to be cytotoxic, which is the ability of Kiseki Royale to destroy the breast cancer cells, and also the ability of the Kiseki Royale to prevent or to retard the spread of the breast cancer cells. Okay, so what can we derive the conclusion here? As a conclusion, we can say that it may be concluded from this study that the bioactive compounds from the Kiseki Royale have the potential to decrease human breast cancer cells proliferation. Proliferation means it actually to stop the cancer cells from growing, okay, especially under 72 hours of treatment. All right. So under these circumstances or under this situation, Kiseki Royale basically or actually demonstrated a better efficacy on the breast cancer cells after being treated for 72 hours in the cell line condition compared to 24 and also 48 hours. Okay, so that's a finding that we actually found for the Kiseki Royale, which if you see that the result here, the 9% itself, which is a low dose, would actually basically kill the cancer cells into half for the time of 72 hours. Yep. So that's all for the result or the findings that we have found for the Kiseki Royale on human breast cancer cell lines for MCF7. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Dr. Lim. Thank you, Dr. Lim, for sharing our research. So basically, this research is a preliminary understanding of what are the potentials of Kiseki, whether it's vital or galan or whatsoever. These are the researches that we will be doing this year. So this year we will be furthering this particular study for breast cancer. And hopefully in the very near future, we can go into clinical stage of research as well. Am I right, Dr. Lim?
Yes, exactly. I think there will be a further research going on for Kiseki, and hopefully there will be a promising results from there.
Okay, excellent. So, okay, now we will go into a Q&A session. So is there any questions being posted in our Facebook live feed? Just let me check.
Oops.
Okay, so we have a Serena Liu. Hi, Dr. Lim. May I know what is the dosage needed for 72 hours treatment and for how long?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. The dosage is actually 9%. The 9% from the Kiseki, which is from the original Kiseki Royale that we have, we actually did the dilution and we make it into a so-called like a calibration curve. Then from the graph that we actually obtained is actually 9%. So 9% after dilution from the Kiseki for the 72 hours. So the treatment is actually lasts for 72 hours in the cell line condition.
Okay, I think what Serena is asking is about the dose that she should or a person needs to take within 72 hours. So I guess that question is more. We are not able to answer that question at the moment until further studies is done. Am I right to say that, Dr. Lim?
Yes, perhaps the dosage itself can follow the dosage that's stated on the packaging, and I think perhaps Dr. Siwa can add further from your study.
Yeah, like if a person is average 60-65 kilos, a 25 ml dose in the morning and 25 ml dose in the evening is good. As was Dr. Lim said, low dilution also helps. So if a person is obese 80 or 90, maybe add another 2 ml, 3 ml more. You need to titrate it based on the condition because everybody are different. Some people might have taken intensive chemo and some everybody are different. Some people have cancer. So it varies from person to person at what stage they are together with what are all the other things they are taking. So this will be more like a one-to-one question so that we can find out more and then give you some recommendations.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Siva. So basically, based on our experience, we do recommend people to take 25 ml in the morning and 25 ml in the evening if they have a sensitive stomach. So basically to dilute it with warm water or to have it after a heavy meal. Am I right to say that, Dr. Siva?
Oh, you're right. Yes, because some people if they have like acid reflux and things like that, best after a meal and dilute it. And maybe even start with 10 ml and slowly go up.
Yeah.
Because this is very, very powerful because post is fermented and fermented and fermented. So it's not like the commercial things most people may associate it with.
Yeah. So, Serena, you have another question, which is, I would like to know, will it apply to cervical cancer as well? So, Serena, actually, this Kiseki is not meant for, we do not treat cancer. We do not treat rheumatoid arthritis. We do not treat diabetes with Kiseki. Kiseki is just a tool that we use to arm our immune system, to defend our immune system, or for our immune system to use it to fight whatever you have, or your friend may have, or whoever has. Am I right to say that, Dr. Siva?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. See, I said we are not going like cancer. No. We are in general, I said, there are a lot of autoimmune diseases. Basically, we are talking in the subject of gut microbiome, which is one of the important aspects of immunity. So, in fact, not only just cancer people, even a healthy person can take on a low dose.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem now is we all wait until a disease manifests and then look for solutions. To me, that's too late. We should learn to invest time, money, and efforts and knowledge before something happens, and we need to prevent. I think that should be the way of future than to keep on fighting a disease.
Yeah, I guess we should have a session on how to invest in our health in the near future as well. Yeah. So Serena, again, Christine, we have a question from Christine Lee. What is 9% in ml? So again, it all depends on the condition that the person has. And basically, our recommendation is 20 to 25 ml in the morning and 20 25 ml in the evening. But if you have gut problems, a sensitive gut, then you can start with a low dose. I believe Dr. Lim has a similar kind of experience as well. Would you like to share, Dr. Lim?
Okay, probably I'll explain a little bit on the 9%. Well, the 9% after 72 hours is actually the relative dose in the cell itself, in the cell line, because we are taking out the cells, we're culturing the cells, and we treat it with the Kiseki, because the 9% dose that is actually fit for the cells itself. So if you want to go for like a human, that's the dosage that mentioned by Dr. Siva and also by Mark just now. So that is the difference. So in terms of the treating cancer, like what Mark mentioned just now, it is actually more towards like when you treat, when we give the Kiseki Royale to the cells, the cells will actually so-called die, and you actually will secrete some of the defense mechanism, and that will give you a certain kind of like, maybe it will provide a better immune system to your body, and also it will kill more of the cancer cells. If you want to know more about the the immune system, we have another part of the research that had been conducted. Maybe you can just stay tuned for maybe like after Chinese New Year or something like that. So we have another session for that. So just stay tuned for that session.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Lim. So is there any other questions? Dr. Siva, do you have any questions? Or Dr. Tan, do you have any questions?
Oh, no, fine.
No, I don't have any question. Thank you much.
Okay. So so thank you everybody, and thank you the audience for coming in, joining us, and listening to what we have to say, and for us to present our research. Our next session will be on 1st of February. It will be an introduction to Meditherapy Singapore and its holistic health approach by Dr. Siva. Right? I guess that's all the time we have for this session. Thank you everyone for joining. If you haven't liked our page, please hit the like button. I don't believe I'm saying this, but if you would like to if you would like to, witness what our customers have experienced with Kiseki, you can search for Hatsuno Kiseki on YouTube, and all the links will be posted below. Links to Dr. Siva's page and all of our resources will be posted below as well. So thank you to all of our speakers and all of you for joining us. Kong Si Fa Chai and happy holidays to all. Take care, be well, and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you
See
very
you,
much.
Mark. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Good night.